Two major events have recently occurred in the Federation. First, the Federation's youngest Alpha Admiral, Mateo, went missing after the Great War. Second, based on the birth rate, the Federation has issued a new decree. After reaching adulthood, Omegas who fail to find a spouse within a month will be forcibly paired with an Alpha. I was originally glad that I was a Beta, but upon closer inspection, I found a small line at the end of the decree. The same applies to Betas. The sky is falling. I just came of age today. That means I only have 1 month left. Whether to find a spouse and get married on my own or be passively assigned to some unknown unattractive person and then have a bunch of unappealing offspring. Even a ghost would know what to choose. But the problem is it that I don't want to get married? If I were an Alpha, I'd also be happy to marry a wife and have a litter of kids. But I'm a Beta, the kind whose fertility is so low that even dogs would despise it. My father served up a plate of lumpy noodles and handed it to me. Don't be so worried. Eat first. Although our family is poor, we can't let you just find any Alpha and get bullied. After you finish eating, let's go to the auction house. If we're lucky, maybe we can pick up a little Omega. I looked at my father with gratitude, pounding my chest as I choked on the lumpy noodles while eating. What's auctioned at the auction house are all criminal slaves, including Alphas, Betas, and Omegas. It was originally a place for the upper class to have fun, but in recent years, it has also done some business targeting the lower class, supplying to middle-class families. I counted the family savings and calculated my own salary. I was a bit worried. Dad, they all say that little Omegas are delicate. Can our savings support him? Although I'm going to buy someone at the auction house. Once I really bring him home, it means taking on responsibility. I have to treat him well. Dad took a puff of his dry tobacco. It should be enough. Anyway, you two won't have kids. True, kids cost a lot more than adults. The entrance fee to the auction house was $200. Dad felt a bit pained. After thinking for a while, he said, "You go in by yourself. Pick your own partner. I won't go in. I'll save the 200 yuan to buy inhibitors for your partner later." I thought he was right. I paid the fee and entered. It was different from the luxurious and well-lit scene I had imagined. It was extremely dim inside, except for a faint light on the stage. The rest was all darkness. The waiter who led me sized me up several times and suddenly asked, "Are you here to buy a partner?" I felt a bit embarrassed. In my concept, buying and selling people has never been a good thing. But due to the reality, I nodded. Yes, because of the newly issued law. I just came of age today. The waiter understood. Looking around, he lowered his voice and asked me, "I just found a little Omega today. Do you want him?" I was startled. Found him? How could someone just pick up a person on the street casually? He might have been abducted. The waiter saw what was on my mind at a glance and waved his hand, saying, "He wasn't abducted. I really found him. He's injured. I originally planned to treat him and find a good customer for him later. But he's so stubborn that he refuses to eat anything I offer. I'm too busy to take care of him, and I'm afraid it'll be inauspicious if he dies at my place." He paused for a moment, as if making up his mind. "Well, $50. You can buy him for $50. Just pay me for the medicine for his injuries." Okay, I hesitated. Is he badly injured? What if I can't cure him? Then I'll lose both my money and the person. The waiter shook his head. It's not that serious. He just has a lot of wounds on his body and has lost a bit more blood. If you can find a way to bandage him up, he'll recover in a few months. Seeing that I still hesitated, he spoke again. $20. $20 should do, right? I've only brought him back for a few hours, and my spouse has been nagging me all noon. I really can't stand it anymore. Anyway, you're here to buy a wife. Who you buy doesn't matter, right? Although the little Omegas in the auction house are of good quality, they're expensive. You can't get one without spending 10 or 20,000. I gritted my teeth and said, "Okay, I'll buy him from you. It's only 20 yuan. You won't lose out or be cheated." I followed the waiter back home. He opened the door of the small room and let me in. Inside was a large cage over 1 meter high, and in the middle sat a man. The man was covered in blood and looked terrifying. The waiter flicked on the light in the room. The man squinted his phoenix eyes and looked at me. His eyes were cold and full of aggression. I couldn't help but take a step back and whispered to the waiter, "Is this really a little Omega? Aren't little Omegas all delicate and soft? How can a little Omega be so fierce?" The waiter nodded firmly. "Of course, you're a Beta and can't smell his pheromones. I'm an Alpha. Can't I smell them? He just has a larger frame. Maybe it's a family trait. His father might even be a very powerful Alpha." All right, the waiter asked me to open the cage myself. He said he was too scared. I got punched by him when I opened the cage yesterday, and my chest still hurts now. No, just because you're scared doesn't mean I'll be brave enough. right? But thinking about the $20 I had already paid, I still steeled myself and stepped forward. While opening the cage for him, I tried to soothe him. Don't be afraid. I bought you from him, but I swear I won't hurt you. The Federation has newly introduced a law that everyone must get married upon reaching adulthood. I have no other choice. What do you mean by I have no other choice? This sounds a bit like the words of a jerk. Never mind. Anyway, I just need you to get a marriage certificate with me. I'm a beta. I won't force you to have children. If you meet someone you like in the future, you can also divorce me. When we get the marriage certificate, we can list all these things I've said and get a lawyer to notarize them. It's a bit of a jumbled explanation, but he should have understood the general idea. Because after I opened the cage, he didn't attack me. I tentatively reached out and touched him. Will you come home with me? The beautiful young man's eyelashes fluttered slightly, and his thin lips were slightly pursed. His stubborn expression made one feel really sorry for him. I dejectedly wanted to withdraw my hand, but in the next moment, he suddenly grabbed it. He softly uttered an to respond to me. His voice was clear and melodious, which made one's heart race. I happily held the beauty's hand and led him out of the cage. Well, it would be better if he were a bit shorter. Originally, he only looked big-boned in the cage. Who would have thought that when he stood up outside the cage, he was a full head taller than me? Is this right? How can a little Omega be so tall? I led the little Omega back to my apartment. I planned to tidy him up and take him to see my dad after he got better. The apartment was bought by me when the housing prices were low a few years ago. It only cost more than $200,000. I originally wanted to take the little Omega to the clinic, but he wasn't very willing. There was no other way, so I had to handle it myself. I took him into the bathroom, got the scissors, cleaned and disinfected them, and carefully cut open the clothes stuck to the blood-stained area. Accidentally, I didn't control the strength well, and the person under my hand let out a muffled groan. I quickly started to coax him. Sorry, I'll go slower. I was a bit flustered as it was my first time doing this kind of thing. To distract him, I asked him, "What's your name?" Because of the pain, his voice became a bit hoarse. Lucas. I carefully treated his wounds and then went out to make the bed for him. Little Omegas have delicate bodies, so the bed has to be made soft. Fortunately, I had extra quilts. I made the big bed in the master bedroom with 3 layers of cotton quilts and put a soft wool blanket on it. Then I helped the person up from the sofa. Originally, I planned to carry him directly back to the bedroom, but he was too tall and strong. I couldn't carry him. How can a man not be able to carry his own wife? Sobs. I must exercise diligently in the future. Lucas noticed my disappointment and comforted me. It's okay. I just don't really like being carried. He paused and then asked, "There's only one bed in the room. Do you want to sleep with me tonight?" We haven't got the marriage certificate yet. How can we sleep together? It would ruin the little Omega's reputation for no reason. I'm not that kind of irresponsible person. Although Lucas said it was okay, I still stuck to my principle and slept on the sofa for one night. Lucas didn't hurt his internal organs or bones, but there were really quite a few wounds of various sizes on his body. I planned to wait for him to recuperate for 2 weeks before getting the marriage certificate. Anyway, there's still a month until the deadline. There's no need to rush. Unlike what I imagined, Lucas is neither delicate nor picky. He eats whatever is served. He's very easy to feed. But just because he's easy to feed doesn't mean I can take rough care of him. I love my own wife. I want to give him a better life. Every day when I come back from work, I'll spend an hour making him a delicious dinner. First, Lucas frowned and said, "You don't need to be so nice to me." I didn't listen. I don't have much money and can't accompany him every day. I already owe him a lot. If I can't even provide him with good food, what kind of person would I be? My father also quite agreed. As the old saying goes, a woman marries a man for food and clothing. Without money, no companionship, and no good attitude, why should he suffer with you? After getting along like this for about half a month, Lucas said he was almost recovered and could go to get the marriage certificate with me. He even said, "Although my gland is damaged and it's difficult for me to have children with you, but if you need it, I'll try my best." What he said was so considerate. It's clearly my problem. I'm a beta and it's very difficult for me to make a little Omega pregnant, but he took the blame on himself, saying it was because his gland was damaged that it was hard to have a baby. I secretly made up my mind that I must be even better to him in the future. Due to the low fertility rate, the marriage procedures were completed very quickly. Even when Lucas lost his ID card, they didn't ask for it. As long as we showed up, registered, they quickly issued us the marriage certificate. They also gave us a bonus of 10,000 yuan and a pennant that read "Glorious to marry." Heroic for having 3 children. Lucas and I glanced at each other, looking at each other in dismay, expecting a beta and an omega with a damaged gland to have 3 children. Isn't it a bit too much to ask? Lucas recuperated for half a month. His wounds healed and his complexion improved a lot. Wearing a simple white shirt with a $5 plastic cufflink, he still looked extremely noble. The coldness when we first met disappeared. The way he looked at me became much gentler. He still talked as little as before. At this moment, he reached out and naturally took my hand, leading me to the reserved restaurant. He said, "It's getting colder. If you're cold, get closer to me." I nodded and walked closely beside him. He was tall. When I leaned against him, I could feel the tense muscles on his arms, which made me feel very safe. Wait, he's a bottom. It seems that I should be the dominant one. Forget it. Anyway, he's my husband. It's not embarrassing to rely on my husband. It's so cold. I need to get closer. I have few relatives. Even for such a big event as my wedding, only 5 tables were filled. My dad was happy after drinking. Drunk, he said to me, "Not bad, not bad. I thought you'd end up alone, but unexpectedly you managed to marry a husband. You have to be good to him from now on. Do you hear me? Never play around with other people. And don't beat him. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." I won't. The beautiful wife I've finally found needs to be cherished and spoiled every day. I didn't plan to drink at first, fearing to leave a bad impression on Lucas. But the elders kept forcing me to drink, and I got drunk in the end. When I came out of the hotel, my head was dizzy. Lucas looked down at me for a moment, then suddenly bent down and picked me up in his arms. I only had time to let out a surprised cry. The next moment, my lips brushed against his side neck. His Adam's apple rolled as if he had something to say, but I waited for a very long time, and there were only the sounds of insects and birds around. I was confused, leaned closer and asked him, "Do you want to say something? Why don't you say it then?" Lucas didn't answer. Under the moonlight, his extremely beautiful and almost demonic face was so close. The atmosphere was sickeningly ambiguous. I rarely use the word beautiful to describe a person, but he is really as beautiful as if made of porcelain, smooth, fair, and nobly floating in the clouds. I felt even more dizzy. I couldn't tell if it was because of the alcohol or my heart sinking. Lucas opened the door, put me on the bed, and leaned over me. Looking up at him, I felt that this short half-month was like a dream. The buttons were undone, and the cold wind sneaking into my clothes made me a bit at a loss. Does he want to be the one in charge? That's okay too. But the next second, Lucas flipped me over. A question mark slowly popped up in my dull mind. Lucas' hoarse voice sounded in my ear. "Baby, don't hide." Wait, something seems wrong. What's behind me? Isn't Lucas an omega? Did the waiter at the auction house deceive me? Selling an alpha as an omega? It seemed that my innocence was about to be lost. I turned over and kicked the person out with a lift of my leg. Lucas wasn't on guard, and the bed was small, so he fell off all of a sudden. He let out a pained grunt. I quickly crawled to the edge of the bed to check on him. He was lying on his back, looking at me with a wronged look in his eyes. "Baby, you don't want to." That cold and noble face was full of disappointment. "Is it because of the damage to my gland that you dislike me? I'm just a beta and not sensitive to pheromones at all. How could I dislike him because of the damage to his gland? I just didn't react in time. How did that sweet and soft little omega turn out to be an alpha?" I ruffled my hair in distress, then reached out to pull him up with my messy hair. "Get up first. The floor is cold." Lucas obediently got up and sat properly on the edge of the bed. He looked a bit uncomfortable, with flushed eye corners and unsteady breathing. His shirt was messed up in the previous actions. Under the unbuttoned shirt, his strong and heaving chest was visible. On his fair skin, several red marks were obvious. It was because of what I did just now. Coupled with Lucas' accusing look, it made me seem like a brute. I raised my hand to cover my eyes and was a bit on the verge of collapse. "Sorry, I thought you were a little omega, so I married you. I didn't do it on purpose. If I had known you were an alpha, I definitely wouldn't have kissed you randomly just now." Lucas was silent for a moment and then asked after a long time, "Do you only like omegas? Then, should I have a sex change?" Lucas' 2 sentences left me speechless too. "No, I like omegas, but you're an alpha. Shouldn't your first reaction be to get a divorce? Why a sex change? This guy has a strange way of thinking." Lucas pursed his lips and stubbornly said, "I won't divorce." I scratched my head. "It's okay if we don't divorce. Wait until later. When you have someone you like, then we'll divorce. Anyway, we got married just to avoid the Federation's new law. Let's just keep this relationship for now." But Lucas still frowned and said, "I won't divorce." He was a bit angry. "What do you take me for? We just got married today, and you want to divorce me. I thought he was right. It was the wedding night. Talking about divorce was really heartbreaking, so I quickly comforted him. Okay, we won't divorce. Let's go to sleep first. I'm so tired today. As I said, I took the quilt and lay down. The soft bed made me sleepy. After lying down for a while, I could hardly keep my eyes open. Then I realized that Lucas seemed to still be sitting. Does this mean he doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as me? I slowly moved and wanted to get up and sleep on the sofa. The next second, a big hand pressed me back onto the bed, and a hot kiss landed on my lips. Lucas's eyes were red. He gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Where do you want to go? Since you've married me, you have to be responsible for me. I've said I'll work hard. Even if my glands are damaged, I can still make you have children. But you want to divorce me without even trying. William, don't you have a conscience?" The quilt was pulled open. My drowsy brain instantly woke up. It's not. Did he misunderstand something? I really don't dislike him because of his damaged gland. The point isn't about having a baby or not. I just don't want to be with an alpha. That's all. Amid the chaos, Mateo gently bit the back of my neck and whispered softly, "Baby, trust me. I really can. When you conceive, I'll take you home, okay?" Go home? Which home? Didn't you say you lost your memory? Lying to me again? My gradually sinking body left me with no time to care about other things. Originally, I still wanted to use the same old trick and kick Mateo off me, but he grabbed my ankle and tied me to the bedpost. It went on until dawn. The room was filled with an indescribable smell. It was like the smell of flowers, yet so faint that it seemed to disappear the next second. I tried hard to sniff and suddenly realized this faint smell that I can't quite make out is most likely Lucas' pheromones. I turned my head to look at him. I found that he was also looking at me, his beautiful eyes full of satisfaction. Sensing my gaze, he knelt and shuffled over on his knees, pulled me into his arms, and kissed my cheek. With our skin touching, the lingering tenderness just now instantly flooded into my mind. I angrily lowered my head and bit him. "Didn't you say you lost your memory? Why did you just say you'd take me home?" Lucas blinked his eyes. "I really did lose my memory before. I just remembered everything in the past few days. I didn't believe it, but things had come to this, and I had no way to deal with him. Then tell me, where are you from and where do you live? If it's close by, I'll ask my dad to send someone to inquire and see what his family situation is like and whether the family relationship is harmonious. If he's an alpha who bosses his wife around and has a violent tendency and beats his wife, I'll immediately break up with him and move out right away." After thinking about a whole bunch of things, Lucas didn't answer me. I bit him again, and only then did he hiss and say, "I can't tell you now. If I tell you, you'll definitely not want me anymore." I felt a chill in my heart. Oh no, then his father must not be a good person. Perhaps he wasn't a good person to begin with. Could he be a fugitive who has committed crimes? Sure enough, one shouldn't be greedy for bargains. I spent $20 to bring back a real handful for myself. I made an excuse to go out for work. In fact, I took the opportunity to escape. First, I went to find my dad. Then I went to the auction house to look for the waiter who sold me Lucas. Dad slapped the table and pointed at the waiter angrily. "What? He dared to sell you a fake? Come on, let's go to the auction house to report him." The waiter quickly grabbed Dad. "Sir, I don't like what you're saying. What do you mean by fake? Your son came looking for a wife, and I did sell him a wife, didn't I? Human trafficking is a deal. Once sold, there are no returns or exchanges, and there's no such thing as a fake. I closed my eyes. Then you should have at least told me. Selling an alpha as an omega, isn't that making a fool of me?" The waiter waved his hand. Not so. His glands are damaged and his pheromones are in a mess. I just misidentified him by accident. It wasn't on purpose. Besides, it's only $20. It really isn't worth suing me. With this little money, it's hard to even file a case. He was so self-righteous, and I was helpless. There's no other way. I can only accept the loss. On the way back, Dad pondered for a long time and finally asked me, "Do you like Lucas?" Do I like Lucas or not? If it were yesterday, I would definitely answer, yes, I do, because Lucas is really good looking and really suits my taste. Although he doesn't talk much, he has a good temper. He speaks to me gently. It would be quite nice to spend a lifetime with him. If I'm lucky, I could even have a bunch of our own kids and live a happy life. But all of this is based on the premise that he is an omega, and I'm the one in the dominant and beneficial position. But now, Lucas is an alpha, and I'm the one being dominated. The one being dominated often has to consider more things. Where does his family live? Are his family members easy to get along with? Is he really as gentle and considerate as he seems on the surface? Could it all be an act? After we get married, will he change when I'm pregnant? Will he have an affair? Will he be violent towards me? Alphas are naturally stronger than betas. If he beats me, can I protect myself? Even though medical technology has developed rapidly in recent years, but there are still countless omegas who die from giving birth. And I'm a beta. It's difficult to get pregnant, and even more difficult to give birth. Lucas, is he worth me risking my life and putting aside all my concerns to have a child? I don't know, and I dare not take the risk. I didn't dare to go back to my apartment. I went back home and stayed with my dad for a few days. My dad hasn't reached the retirement age yet, and he does physical work. He goes to work as soon as he opens his eyes every day. He goes out at dawn and doesn't come home until it's completely dark. Coincidentally, it's my turn to work from home these days. I'm alone at home, and all I do is work. I kind of miss the time when Lucas was around. He would make delicious pancakes for me and also make a lot of snacks. I shake my head to drive away those little thoughts of missing him. Wait until he's willing to be honest with me before seeing him. The window rattled twice. I looked up and saw a tall figure behind the window. Countless thoughts flashed through my mind instantly, and my heart started pounding. Are thieves not afraid of people nowadays? In broad daylight, do they want to smash the window and break in to rob? I swallowed my saliva, picked up the cup beside me and held it in my hand, planning to take advantage of the right moment to hit the thief hard when he broke in. But the next second, the lock was unlatched, and it was Lucas's face that poked in. Lucas was also a bit surprised, as if he didn't expect to see me. Aren't you working? I rubbed my throbbing temples and pointed at the computer on the table. I've been working from home these days. What are you doing here? Why didn't you come through the front door? Lucas remained silent. I got angry. Hey, can't you talk? I hate it when he keeps his mouth shut like this. I asked you what your identity is and where you live, but you wouldn't say a word. What's the matter? Is your identity a state secret? You're always acting so mysterious. Who do you think you are? If you're really that great, don't get injured and be picked up by someone. I'm really fed up with him. He has a mouth but can't talk. I might as well poison him to make him mute. Lucas looked a bit panicked. Baby, don't be angry. Today is the anniversary of 5 days and 2 hours since our marriage. You can't be angry. What anniversary? 5 days and 2 hours? Is there such a strange anniversary? After saying that, he tried to climb in through the window. I pushed him back with my hand. Use the front door, climbing through the window. Who taught him this? It's like I'm having a secret rendezvous with a lover. Lucas left the window reluctantly. A few seconds later, he knocked on my front door. I opened the door for him and gave him a cross look. Lucas didn't dare to resist. He pursed his lips and followed me into the house step by step. I'm Mateo, the youngest Alpha Admiral in the Federation, he said. There was a traitor in the military. I was attacked and injured. My gland was damaged and my memory was also affected. I tried hard to digest these words and reacted a bit slowly. Mateo was anxious. Baby, believe me, I really didn't lie to you. I really just regained my memory the other day. I raised my hand and pinched his mouth. Don't call me baby. Who do you think is your baby? Just shut up and stay aside. Let me calm down for a while. But Mateo took the opportunity to kiss the palm of my hand. Baby, don't be angry. It's not a bad deal to buy me for $20. I'm really good at that aspect. I guarantee I can make you pregnant. The gland damage is not permanent. I can repair it myself. At most, it'll take half a year and I'll be fine. By then, I'll still be a complete alpha and won't let you be wronged. My palm was itchy. How could he be like this? We were arguing. Why did he kiss me? Will he lick my hand if I slap him in the future? And he vowed that he could definitely make me pregnant. Can a beta get pregnant so easily? But when I met his expectant gaze, I found it a bit hard to say those harsh words. After holding it in for a long time, I finally said, okay, if we can't have a baby, you'll be my son and call me dad. Me call you dad? Isn't that a bit inappropriate? I grunted twice. It's appropriate. It's very appropriate. It not only solves the problem of the low marriage rate, but also solves the problem of the low birth rate. It's a 2-for-1 deal, Mateo said firmly. No way. It seems I have to work harder. Saying that, he leaned in to kiss me again. I kicked him away. Get away. Kissing all day long. Aren't you annoying? He can't mark me. Apart from getting me all covered in saliva. What else can he do? Mateo's eyes were deep. Try more. Maybe you'll be marked successfully. Mateo wanted to go back to the apartment with me for a romantic time just for the two of us. Before we could leave, we bumped into my dad who had just come back from work. Dad looked at Mateo's hand on my waist and felt a bit jealous. Didn't you say you wouldn't forgive him for now? Why are you so easily going back with him? I slapped my head. Oh, right? I still have many things to clarify. How could I be led astray by a few words from Mateo? I turned my head and looked at Mateo. You go back by yourself. I'll still stay with my father. Mateo gave my father a resentful look and didn't let go of the hand around my waist. Taking advantage of the moment when my father turned around and went into the house, he picked me up in his arms and rushed out with a few long, legged steps. I widened my eyes and wanted to jump out of his arms, but he held my legs tightly. Mateo's voice was steady, hiding a bit of cunning that was hard to detect. Baby, don't move. You'll fall later. We're already married. There's no reason for you to live with your father. Be good and come home with me. I was half dragged and half carried back. Alphas are really strong. I couldn't resist at all. Fortunately, Mateo only asked me to stay under the same roof with him and didn't force me to do other things. He said, living together is convenient for cultivating feelings. I thought for a moment and felt that what he said was right. Simply avoiding things won't solve the problem. We've already got the marriage certificate, and we can't return the goods. Mateo was quite well behaved during the day, except when he went out. He spent the rest of the time cooking delicious food for me. He made all kinds of snacks and desserts. He said, if you want to capture someone's heart, you have to capture their stomach first. I deeply agreed. Even if our relationship isn't deep in the future, I'll still stay by your side because of the delicious food. Who can't I live with? Living with Mateo. I have food and drinks, and he's handsome and willing to take care of people. I had a wonderful week living like an emperor. The more I looked at Mateo, the more pleasing he became. Today, Mateo was out for quite a while. It was already dark when he came back, carrying a small double-layer cake in his hand. I happily welcomed him into the house and took the cake to start eating. After eating for quite a while, I felt that it was overly quiet indoors. Looking up, I found that Mateo was staring at me with an obscure look in his eyes. I choked a bit and said, "What's wrong? Does he think I'm eating too much?" Mateo didn't answer but handed me a glass of water. I instantly became vigilant. What does it mean by not saying a word? Did you put poison in this water? I forced a smile stiffly and pushed the water back to him, saying, "If you don't like me, you can just say it. I'll never pester you. I can go get a divorce tomorrow. Don't be so extreme." Mateo noticed my fear. He raised his hand to touch his forehead and said in a low voice, "Sorry, did I scare you? I seem to have entered my susceptible period. As a beta, I don't have glands, no pheromones, and certainly no heat or rut. So, when Mateo said he was in his rut, I didn't realize how dangerous it was. It wasn't until he carried me onto the bed, sniffed at the back of my neck, and tried to mark me forcefully that I understood. I crawled forward, trying to put some distance between us. The next second, though, he effortlessly pulled me back. Mateo's hot kisses landed on my neck, and he gently bit my skin twice. He controlled his strength and didn't break the skin, but this slight pain was extremely tormenting. I couldn't help but try to dodge, but he held me firmly beneath him. "Mateo, I'm a beta. I can't be marked by you. Instead of sleeping with me, he should go find an omega or get an injection of inhibitors." Mateo stopped what he was doing. I felt a strange sense of disappointment in my heart. Sure enough, betas are really a mood killer, unable to be marked, unable to respond to pheromones. No one really likes betas. Is Mateo going to find another little omega? My mind was in a mess, and I buried my head in the quilt. Mateo grabbed my waist and flipped me over, forcing me to look him in the eye. "William, look at me." I wiped away my tears and stubbornly said, "I won't look." He leaned over, kissed my eyes, and coaxed softly, "I like you as a person. It has nothing to do with whether you're a beta or an omega. Even if you were an alpha, I'd still like you." I said, "I don't believe it, unless you let me do it." His eyes were red-rimmed, his voice hoarse, and his gaze a bit unfocused. "Baby, please have mercy on me and help me." "Okay." We tossed and turned for half the night. At first, I still had the energy to curse. Later, I just wished I could pass out. An alpha's words are nothing but lies. When passion runs high, they simply can't control their strength. I cried until my throat was hoarse, but Mateo was still full of enthusiasm. He even found the energy to accuse me. "It was you who brought me home. It was you who started this. Now you keep talking about divorce. Am I really that unworthy of you? If not, just think of me as a dog. Just think of it as having an extra dog at home. Divorce is out of the question. Don't even think about it. It'll never happen in this lifetime." I thought groggily, can the susceptible period really change a person's personality? Mateo usually doesn't talk this much. So noisy. I slapped him backhandedly. "Stop yapping at me. So annoying. If I had known he was an alpha, I wouldn't have bought him. I haven't even settled the score with him for deceiving me, and now he's blaming me." As a result, Mateo grabbed my hand and gave it 2 affectionate kisses. "Why are you touching my face? Have you changed your mind? Are you going to be with me properly? Who's touching his face? Alphas really have thick skins. A slap doesn't seem to hurt at all. I asked Mateo, why did you wait until I was pregnant to take me home? If I can't get pregnant and can't carry on the family line, you won't take me back to meet your parents? Mateo seemed to find it absurd and laughed out of anger. Do you think I'm the kind of person? I pursed my lips and sized him up and down. Hard to say. You can know a person's face but not their heart. An alpha like Mateo with such good looks clearly has a lot of schemes. Mateo gave a soft laugh, a bit helpless. I'm an orphan. I don't have parents. Who would I take you back to meet? I was stunned. There have been many descriptions of this young and famous alpha admiral in the news, but they basically focus on how heroic he is on the battlefield, how good and exquisite his decisions are. No reports have ever described what he looks like or what his family is like. He has a noble temperament and outstanding strength. I almost assumed that he has a perfect family and a powerful backer, but I never expected that he is an orphan. Mateo pulled me into his arms and hugged me, resting his chin on my shoulder, speaking in a lazy and gentle tone. When I said I'd take you home, it means taking you to my house. I have 3 properties in the very center of the Federation, all very close to the hospital. The medical conditions in the Federation Center are better than here. I'll be more at ease if you go there to give birth. I was a bit incredulous and asked him, is it just because of this? Is it also because I'm a beta and not good enough for his status? Mateo kissed my cheek. Baby, don't think of me as that bad. If you want to go, I can take you back anytime. I'll also introduce you to my few friends and hold another perfect and lively wedding for you. But baby, I still have a lot of things to handle. The traitors haven't been caught. The closer we get to the power center, the more dangerous it is. I don't want you to take risks. He tightened his arms around me, as if very afraid of losing me, and spoke sincerely and earnestly. Wait for me to handle everything. Give me some more time. Okay. Dad was worried about me and afraid that I'd be bullied by Mateo, so he came to see me several times. I told him about Mateo's identity. Dad was silent for a long time, smoked 4 or 5 cigarettes, and finally sighed. Forget it. It's all fate. The Federal Center is 100,000 miles away from here. After Mateo got injured, he ended up here and was bought by you for $20. What a coincidence. I'm getting old and too lazy to worry about it. You should live a good life with him from now on. I stroked my full stomach, then dawdled over to sit beside Dad, and hugged his arm like I did when I was a kid. Dad, if I leave with Mateo in the future, will you come with me? Dad looked even more worried when he heard that. I don't want to go, but I'm worried about you. I gave a silly laugh. I don't plan to stay there for long. I'll just go and have a look and then come back. Then you'll still make me dumpling soup when I'm back. I still have to go. I need to see if Mateo is as honest as he claims. I don't want there to be any first loves or stand-ins. Mateo immediately protested his innocence. I joined the army when I was 14. All I did every day was drills. Where did I have the time for love? I grunted twice. Your words don't count. I'll find out for myself. Mateo looked down at me, with a smile on his lips, and indulgently replied, all right, you can go and find out for yourself. It'll be soon. Just wait for half a month. After getting in touch with the Federal Center, Mateo was very busy. He was busy catching traitors, dealing with affairs, and still finding time to be close to me. The injury on his gland had healed by itself. There was only a faint mark left on the back of his neck. It had no impact on his life, but Mateo always used that faint wound to act coquettishly with me. Yes, act coquettishly. Whenever it rained, he would nestle into my arms whining and say, baby, the wound hurts so much. Then I would stroke his gland, roll over and pin him down to take a bite. I asked Mateo, can a beta mark an alpha? Mateo said, no, but you can try biting me a few times. Maybe we're special. So I bit through his skin and left a few bright red marks near his gland. Mateo would always smile and say, baby, you can bite deeper. I like the marks you leave. Mateo couldn't mark me, but when he bit me, it would leave a very small rose pattern on my body. It was very beautiful. I asked him to bite on my collarbone or wrist. It was very novel, like a waterproof tattoo sticker. After a few days, the mark would disappear automatically. Mateo would replenish the marks on me before they faded, and he also invited me to leave a few rosy marks on him. By the time everything was completely settled, it was already winter. The cold weather made me even more of a homebody than usual. I was always sleepy and had a poor appetite. Dad came to bring me some smoked bacon. Seeing my pale face, he suddenly asked, could you be pregnant? I was stunned. No way. I'm a beta. How could it be so easy for me to have a baby? Dad took me to the hospital. After a series of examinations, the doctor happily told me, You're over a month pregnant, and the fetus is very healthy. Dad and I looked at each other in surprise. Mateo received the news and rushed back overnight. He happily picked me up and spun me around, then cried with red-rimmed eyes. Maybe he felt that he finally had a stable home. Mateo said that he would follow my choice on where to live in the future, whether it was in the federal center or staying here. As long as I'm there, he'll be very happy. The wandering ends when lovers meet. William, from now on, let's never be apart. Okay.